let's uh let's see if we can pull some of these files up. You know, I read some of these deep off into the night last night, and there's a overwhelming evidence, right? Just from their own files, their own emissions. Like they got this motherfucker's phone calls from 2004. So I guess what I'm trying to say is my problem is these fuckers knew this shit was happening and they didn't stop it. They just sat back and recorded it. They just let it go on. And I'm gonna tell you something. What kind of lawyer defends this shit? What kind of lawyer sits back? And I know that's their job, right? Is to try to defend somebody. But man, where do you draw the line of what you're okay with and what you're willing to fucking defend? Like some of this shit that I was looking at. Now, here's the problem with this list. Hey, mama. Here's the problem with this list. These lists are all jumbled up, so you can't get anything in any kind of order. You kind of have to read through here and then hope that you find the continuing page, which I don't know if that's the way that they meant to drop them or if they just had so many of them they couldn't put them in order, which I don't understand why they couldn't put them in order, but it kind of bothers me that the FBI agents knew this shit was going on in 2004. They'd been monitoring these phone calls. Listen, and Epstein, they was trying to make a defense. Oh, he didn't ask her age. Motherfucker, you were a math teacher. She told you she was a junior in high school. You knew how old she was. You just didn't give a fuck. And this Leon Black dude, they need to burn him at the stake. This guy right here. Let me see if I can get it to bring it up. Yeah, this piece of shit right here. Yeah, I read some of the shit that he did to them girls. What a fucking creep. 73 years old, man. Not only did he have sex with them, he wanted to hurt them. He's got a pain fetish. Oh, it ain't allegations. And they knew. Yeah, sick as shit, man. It really is just fucking sick. Like I say, picture the lawyers that are defending this shit. See, I think about this shit totally different, right? You can't defend people like that. Where do you, in good conscience, draw the line and say, okay, your money is no good with me? You know what I mean? All right. So let's grand jury, West Palm Beach, Florida, Tuesday, February 6th, 2007. Let that sink in. The FBI was on this dude. Mm, mm, mm. But like I say, you can't just go to any one thing that you're looking for. You have to fucking just kind of search around. Where it says search for library, you have to type in what you're looking for. So you can either go to the files of the cases or you can go to the lawyer correspondence when they were trying to bring charges. In the very first few, like say data set 3, you go in here, we'll just click on the first one, right? Like, what the fuck? Adult soap on the road. I don't even know what the fuck that is. Yeah, they talked about it. Yeah, that's my problem. They knew what was going on. This is from 2006. This was the very first start of it. And they got it. Okay, this is the lineup where they picked him out of the lineup. They just got the other people's face blacked out. And this looks like the same shit over and over again. Page 101. Page 101. It is. It's the same shit over and over again. See if we can get that in later. So why are these people's faces blacked out unless they're the victims? I'm on the floor. I guess these are all photos. I don't really care about looking at photos, to be honest with you. That's what all this shit is. Redacted photos. Yeah, well, I wouldn't know nothing about that then. London. I guess this is his island. This must be before he bought the island. I won't let them look over. That's what it looks like. Anybody is on that fucking list needs to be put in alphabetical order so the public fucking knows. But I see that I think InfoWars sent me something on Instagram where they were saying that Trump wasn't in the fucking files. But there's a lot of fucking Democrats that is. You leaving, buddy? All right, I love you.
Thank you for buying me green.
You're welcome, buddy. Great, same thing. So we also served a subpoena on the adult video warehouse. The first one was only 41, which was served. Both of these were served April 24th, 2007, and they were seeking any transactions that occurred on behalf of Mr. Epstein or those individuals that were working for him or with him. We received items back. This, why, if they, that's the part that gets me, right? They fucking started investigating him in 2007, but they didn't serve a subpoena, or in 2004 and didn't serve the subpoena until 2007. That gives them 3 years to get rid of shit. So this is what I had been doing when I was looking at them. Instead of just going to the very first fucking ones, I was skipping, like trying to get deep down in there. Because I'm looking for names is what I'm looking for. I'm looking for fucking people that had something to do with it. I've been writing them down. It's back Ghislaine Maxwell. Letter regarding defense requests, MDC Warden Docs. Mark S. Cohen. Christine Everdale. I think anybody had anything to do with this motherfucker as far as business or defending him. Yes, this was some of his Homeland Security flight logs. This goes all the way back to 1997. As court is aware, on the morning of August 10th, 2019, Jeffrey Epstein died while in custody Metropolitan Correctional Center. On August 16th, 2019, after conducting an autopsy, the chief medical examiner issued a statement identifying the cause of death as hanging and the manner of death as suicide. In light of the death and defendant prior to convictions becoming final, the government must request the court to approve an attached proposal of no whatever, consistent with our practice throughout this case and our obligations under the Crime Victims' Rights Act. The government has made effort to contact all identified victims since the learning of the death of the defendant and will similarly notify all known victims of attached order once entered. Notice to public access user. Conference of the United States policy permits attorneys of records and parties in a case, including pro, to receive free electronic copies of all documents filed electronically if recipients is required by law or detected by the filer. Pacers access fees apply to all other users. To avoid later charges, download a copy of each document during the first view. However, if the reference document is transcript, the free copy and 30-page limits do not apply. But it's almost like a waste of fucking a file. The only other time I interacted with him was he made an arrangement for us to go see a movie. We went to go see, I believe it was 12 Monkeys or the Brad Pitt film. Yeah, with Brad Pitt. That was creepy. My memory was that he was sitting sort of in between. And I basically, the movie starts, and at some point he started to kind of, reach out and hold my hand. And then he sort of started kind of caressing it. And then at some point, he would touch my shoe, kind of rub my foot, and things like that. She's trying to process during the movie what is happening here. Is this normal? Turn on and engage in a conversation or something, and then he dropped my hand or stopped doing that with my foot, which was because I felt so uncomfortable. But then I was also trying to go back and forth in my mind between whether or not is this weird. I mean, it feels weird to me, but maybe he's kind of fatherly towards me, but that doesn't jive. Obviously, the idea that he was keeping it from some way by shielding her so she wouldn't see it. See what? Yeah, there's no order to this shit at all. That's just another fucking document of his damn shit. I don't know. What's up, Oyster? Yeah, 88. I get that. I get that. Which, with that damn Leon Black, they got people that's complaining. They've got they've got his ass. $62.5 million. And he paid Epstein, from what I read last night, he paid him for advice. Like $128 million for tax advice. Bro, there's tax people out there who don't get paid like that. So obviously he was paying for something else. You know what I mean? And that's what they were saying in the thing. And when you got that kind of money, and the shit that dude did to them girls I read on here, man, was fucking horrible. He was biting them down there. He was trying to hurt them. They was talking about, I hate to even talk about what they said, but let's just say that when he got done with them, they needed to go to the hospital. And they wouldn't let them. It's fucking sick, man. And to think these people are fucking. So this paper here says in appearing that the United States Attorney's Office and the Federal Bureau of Investigations has conducted their own investigation into Epstein's background in any offenses that may have been committed by Epstein against the United States from in or around 2001 to 2007. That's 6 years that they gathered information on this motherfucker, or in a periodic. Now, the case didn't start till 2004, but they went back all the way as to 2001. What's up, Roland? Yeah, oh yeah. Yeah, $128 million or whatever it was. That's a lot of fucking money, man, for tax advice. But now, I will say that the dude was trying to hide $2 billion. So I guess 128 million ain't much when it comes to 2 billion. I'm hoping to stumble upon some of these motherfuckers' names, is what I'm hoping to do. Approximately 50 investigations and 10 to 15 charge cases at any given time, and take approximately 20 to 30 referrals, tips each quarter. Then assign approximately 5 to 8 cases across different units. Cases come from the agencies, Polaris, tips, lines, victims, and NGO. News types of the case: domestic, international, gang, money, and laundering. Southern District of New York. So, and that kind of, we'll wait till we got some names, but I got some theories about that shit. Andre Stratus, United States Attorney. When was this? 2021. Somebody's gonna put all this shit together. You watch and see. Somebody's a hell of a lot smarter than I am. It's gonna put this shit together. This message and attached documents contain information from the law offices of Bobby C. Sternheim. This Bobby C. Sternheim. See, if he defended them motherfuckers. You're right. It's gonna take fucking years to put this shit together. That's all you can do, though, right? Same this place in New York. Okay, this is just about where he was in fucking prison. Yeah, I guess this is some of the officer shit. When he got home less than 2 hours later, the DCT was activated. Intensively told everyone that he was not going in. Called and asked him if he could come in because there were only two veterans. He stated that he spoke to and told them he was going to go. Was sick, so he did not go in. Officer Russell Institution of Fort Dix. Danbury pulled the inmate out, searched them, searched their cells, gathered any contraband, put it in the command center. During the search, all the top bosses were in the command center. Stated that he could not remember if they searched 7 North or 5 North on the first night. Stated that they completed searches on 2 or 3 units that night. Did not leave MC until after midnight. Told the COs to go home. Next day, worked the night shift. Had interviewed inmates. Receiving and discharging of inmates were described as young kids with dark skin, dark eyes, blood. But they felt that the inmates knew about the gun. It sat with the inmate. The inmate said that he had nothing to do with the gun. Stated that might have seen the inmate back in the unit. So they're sneaking fucking guns in there? I can sell. Said shortly after Captain from another prison said that he needed 10 guys that were all went south. Stated that he was calling R&B, but does not remember if it was over the radio. Maybe he went to R&B. So I guess they snuck him a fucking phone. Where the following week, rumors were spread that had passed a phone to an inmate started that he had heard the rumors from. He explained that he and very close told that they were probably after him. Stated that he and that 2000 more time in, but they used to work the elevators together. Lives in Brooklyn and was recently involved in a shooting not too far from his house. So I guess he had the gang members sneaking in phones, I guess. What the fuck would this even be in the investigation for? He pulled his thing out on camera and had sex with a female inmate. Stated that he had not heard anything else. What the fuck is going on? They are just a bunch of fucking freaks. Oh, it is sad, man. It's fucking really sad. What's even worse is they put shit like this in the documents with nothing in there, just an address. But it's just to take up spaces to slow you down from looking at shit. But I guess if they didn't, they'd bitch and somebody'd bitch and complain, oh, all the files ain't there. I hope somebody smarter than me fucking goes through here and pulls all these names out. Okay, this one fucking do this shit. So who's this Fernandez? I wonder why his name keeps popping up in there. He must be like probably the one that was the head little fucking dude that inside the head inmate that could get shit in there. Right. Just twice his name don't come up in there. See, there's no point in fucking posting something like that. That shit here was out there was dead, I guess. See what that is on it. Why are they posting the guards' fucking work shift? That's what I don't fucking get. They redacted their names on it anyway. Why are they posting this shit? This is September 6th. I guess that's about getting the cameras fixed. $800,000 to get the fucking cameras fixed? What the fuck? Mm. Okay, these are just logs. I thought this was a. Why are they even keeping this? I guess these are phone logs where they requested to use the phone. Attorney logbook, yeah. That's where they were talking to their attorneys. So I take it the guard was writing these because that's not even the same fucking signature. That's not even Epstein's signature. A lot of that shit's just jumbled the fuck up, ain't it? What's up, Yankees for life? We're just hanging out, man. We're just hanging out. I hate that this shit's so unorganized. You should be able just to go to it and see it from day one on, you know what I mean? But you fucking can't. Now, I don't know if that's on purpose. I should have fucking copied that shit that I was looking at last night. I stayed up way too fucking late looking at that shit last night. Till fucking shit, probably 2:30, 3 o'clock this morning. But you can't make sense of none of the shit. Because they got all the fucking names and shit redacted out of there, which I get. But somebody's gonna find out who they are, you know? They always fucking do. Let's go look at, let's go watch something, see what fuck they're talking about this morning. Shit is. Has anybody seen anything about the stock market? I wonder if it's starting to take a hit or not.
Unredacted records, unredacted about convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein, available for certain members of Congress to view today. Here's what Representatives Thomas Massie and Ro Khanna said they saw just moments ago. Take a listen.
What I saw that bothered me were the names of at least 6 men that have been redacted that are likely incriminated by their inclusion in these files.
Our bigger concern is that there's still a lot that's redacted, even in what we're seeing.
Here now joining us, Democratic Congressman Jared Moskowitz of Florida. He serves on the House Judiciary Committee. So, Congressman, you got to look at some of these files today. Now, the Epstein Files Transparency Act only allowed the Justice Department to withhold the personal information of the victims, the survivors, and material that would jeopardize active federal investigations. Did the redactions that you saw comply with the law? And tell us what you saw that concerned you.
Well, thanks, Jake. Thanks for.
Here's what I don't like. These motherfuckers ain't just gonna shoot straight from the hip. They gonna fucking spin this shit.
For having me. First, let me say, obviously, we're all hoping for Savannah's mom's speedy return to her family. So first of all, you go into the Department of Justice today, you go to the 10th floor of a building. There's nobody who works on that floor. You go into a room with 4 computers. The system that they set up for us to view these documents has a 24-page handbook on how to use it. There's 2.7 million documents that you have to go through. There's no way to go through them unless you know what you're looking for by batch number.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. It's hard to put this shit together.
Match up the redacted document and look for it in an unredacted capacity. But first, let me say that today I saw a worldwide sex trafficking ring with people in other countries sourcing young children for Jeffrey Epstein, co-conspirators' names, men and women.
What's up, Drew?
Clearly, other people that might be on the client list that are on text messages and emails. Over redactions.
Yeah, I'm actually drinking one right now, Drew. Them motherfuckers are good.
Intentionally so. And then documents that are still redacted. And when we asked why these were redacted, that's because they were submitted into this electronic system redacted. And the people that were at our disposal to ask those questions did not know why they were still redacted, Jake.
To me, it's the best one they got. That damn Apple one they came out would be all right if it didn't have that damn ginger in it. That apple, when you first take a first sip of it, it's got the best apple taste you're ever going to taste in your life. I tried one of them ones that Rusty told me about. It wasn't bad. I'll drink them. that cherry cola, that Celeste or whatever, Celsius.
Could you identify any of the names of individuals who are mentioned in the files that concern you? And if you're afraid of doing it with me now because of fear of lawsuit, there is the speech and debate clause of the Constitution. Obviously, you could go to the floor of the House and you could say it.
You know, I used to drink the original, and then they come out with that Yellowtail, and this dude's like, man, try this. It switches it up a little bit. And I drank it for a little while. I was like, hell yeah. And then they started coming out with them other flavors, you know.
And not be sued. Can you tell us anybody?
Well, Jake, we have Pam Bondi coming to the Judiciary Committee hearing on Wednesday, as you mentioned. It's the first time she's coming to the Judiciary hearing. She's the only cabinet secretary yet to appear in the House on the Committee of Jurisdiction. And I think we're going to give her the opportunity to start naming people. I think that's what Thomas Massie and Ro Khanna have talked about. Obviously, these names need to come out. I think the DOJ needs to release an unredacted version of these documents while still keeping.
Yeah, they do. Absolutely.
The victims' names secure, but there are clearly co-conspirators in here that they can name. Okay, I mean, in the documents I saw, we got pictures and their names. They're talking about sourcing girls. There's people in Paris. There's people in Russia. There's people in Czech sourcing girls for Jeffrey Epstein, and then other people talking about these girls being sent to them. They refer to them as, you know.
Hey, I wonder if they're going to take her out too. I wonder if they're going to get to her.
We're dropping the child off. I mean, it's really gross, Jake, on how these people are talking about this stuff in text message and email. I think the American people need to see it and understand that this is a worldwide network that Jeffrey Epstein was running.
You talking about the dude that's on the screen?
Today, Ghislaine
Smart
Maxwell's
mouth.
attorney said she's prepared to speak fully
Hey,
and honestly.
Stephanie.
She took the fifth with the House Oversight Committee earlier. But she said she'll speak fully and honestly, but only if given clemency by President Trump. And her attorney, essentially at the same time, was saying, hey, you know, Ghislaine Maxwell is the only person who could clear President Trump and President Clinton and say they're innocent of wrongdoing. Some people might see that as a quid pro quo.
Yeah, to clear Trump, to Trump and Clinton. Yeah, fuck you.
What was your reaction?
That's exactly what it is, Jake. First of all, why was she moved from the maximum security prison? Why did Todd Blanche move her? You know, I hope we get an answer from Pam Bondi on Wednesday. Nobody seems to know why she was moved. Who directed that? What was that exchange for? By the way, when she talked to Todd Blanche, she didn't claim any Fifth Amendment privilege. And so her right to remain silent. So all of a sudden now, I mean, this is another failed, you know, Comer, you know, hearing that he has where he says Ghislaine Maxwell's coming in to talk and we're going to get the truth. And
What if they find out that actually a fucking Democrat was behind getting her moved? I wonder what does it say then.
when we get nothing. She needs to go back to that maximum security prison. There should be no deal for clemency for her to bail anybody out. But at the end of the day, we need to know why she was given this deal, why she was moved, what did she trade for, and what does the administration know that they're not telling us?
Hey, this is.
But hey, look, and I meant to say. Listen, I get why people are pissed off about her moving, right? But if there's a worldwide pedophile fucking ring, and she can help bring all them other ones down, not that it's a get out of jail free card for her, but sometimes you got to do shit that you don't want to do to get the results that you're looking for. And if she can put an end to it and get a lot of these motherfuckers locked up, then I'm for it. And they're gonna, they're gonna twist this shit and try to get everybody fucking hyped up and spun out and all that shit.
Jacob Hall, owner of Georgia Solar Pros. Here at Georgia Solar Pros, we design and install power systems across North Florida and South.
They say we got a tornado
Democratic
warning
Congressman
coming
Jared
today.
Moskowitz of Florida, thanks so much. Always good to have you on.
Joining us now, California Democratic Congressman Ro Khanna sits on the House Oversight Committee, sat in on the Maxwell testimony, and viewed some the unredacted files today. So, Congressman, what are your biggest takeaways after viewing some of those unredacted documents?
That too much of it was still redacted. Anderson, you'll remember that in March, the FBI had 1,000 personnel going through these files. Donald Trump had ordered them to go through the files, and they made many redactions. And it looks like what happened is those files were redacted then, and then they sent them over to Justice, and Justice kept those redactions. Well, the FBI works for Pam Bondi, and they need to unscrub the redactions that the FBI made to comply with the Epstein Transparency Act.
So even the files you saw were redacted?
I'd say 70 to 80% of them were redacted. The main 302 statements where survivors talked about who raped them, all of that was still redacted. Now, we did find information about some excessive redactions where there were 6 men in the 2 hours we reviewed who should not have been redacted. And I do hope the Justice Department makes that public. Some of the most sensational emails, frankly, some of the redactions may have been legitimate because some of them were from women, some of them may have been survivors. But the broader theme is that a lot of this was redacted back in March before we passed the law. And the law requires an unscrubbing of those files so we know who the powerful men were who visited the island and raped these girls. And that was never done.
Yeah, no, Stephanie, I get it. I get it. I really do.
You were at...
And, you know, they're going to end up getting her by the time it's over with. Somebody going to end up.
Maxwell's deposition with the House Oversight Committee today. She invoked her Fifth Amendment right multiple times and also promised to clear President Trump's name in exchange for clemency. I'm wondering what your takeaway was from that and the whole deposition itself.
I was outraged. I mean, she spent hours talking to Deputy Attorney General Blanche and answering his questions. Yet when it came to the Oversight Committee, whether there were Republican or Democratic questions, she took the blanket Fifth Amendment. Even when we were asking her
What's up, info?
Incriminating herself, just asking her who else came to the island. Who else do you know that could have trafficked in girls? And then she says, well,
Yeah, I'm just like the rest of America. I'm caught up in this shit right now. It's fucking sickening, man, to realize just how big this shit was. But, you know, a lot of people had suspected that, and then they were called crazy and shit when they talked on it.
I do have this information. I know this information, but I'm only going to share it if you give me clemency and don't have any prosecution.
So, is it worth trading her to get the other ones? I don't know. How y'all feel about that? Would you give her clemency if she brought down the house?
That's not how things work. She should be sent back to the maximum security prison.
We played that clip where you and Congressman...
And I'm going to tell you right now, some of these motherfuckers that's involved would say just what that dude said because they don't want her to talk. And if they can get her in prison, back in prison, they'll be happy.
He said there are at least 6 men whose names have been redacted who should be incriminated by their inclusion in the files. Can you elaborate more on that? I mean, is it clear was that part of the group that was redacted in the first place?
No, that is not part of the group. It doesn't.
Yeah,
look like that's part of the
that's
group.
kind of where I'm at, ADA. Not saying that she should get away with it because she shouldn't, right? But if there's people out there that's not going to be prosecuted unless she testifies, then I say let her fucking testify. They do it all the time. What's any different between any other case, you know? Except for this one's more major.
Documents that say there are 10 co-conspirators.
You see what they did with that fucking Andrew dude?
In that document, some of them were women. Now, I don't know if those women were survivors or not survivors, but we give the benefit of the doubt to Justice.
And I'm wondering if they'll bring any of these people, it's all over the world, back to the United States to make them face charges. If they'll go and get them. I wonder if they'll go that far.
Maybe those were survivors who also happened.
Yeah, exactly, Roland. That's kind of where I'm at too.
But there are 6 men in those documents, some of them foreign born, a couple of them in the United States with their pictures. And there's absolutely no explanation for why they were redacted. Now, we just.
Yeah, I get that too, Stephanie. But what's any different from her than the ones that were testifying in Congress that were actually out amongst, and bringing the recruits back to them? What's any difference between Maxwell and them?
Discovered 6 men in a 2-hour review. My guess is there are more of those people, and we are going to petition the Justice Department to release that. That could have been incompetence and a cover-up. The broader cover-up, though, that I'm concerned about is the scrubbing that took place in March in the FBI files, where all of this redacted information was then sent to the Justice Department. I think U.S. attorneys looked at it in good faith, but they were looking at documents that were already redacted. So when I said to the Justice Department person, who was very nice, helping me search through the documents, I said, why are these redacted? He said, well, sir, we got them this way. So we just are putting them up in the form we got them. And that is the big issue that needs to be addressed.
Congressman Ro Khanna, as always, I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Three guests on this show who either knew Epstein or knew Trump have all used the exact same words to describe Trump and Epstein's relationship over the past week as we've been talking to them, and you've heard them. And they have done this totally unprompted. So here is a former...
I like how they do this shit, right? A fucking smear campaign.
One of Epstein's former girlfriends, and an Epstein accuser who says she had a troubling incident with Trump. They all said the exact same thing here on Outfront.
They were best friends.
They were best friends.
Was his best friend.
You heard them, and right there, Jack O'Donnell, Trump's former business associate.
Show me pictures of Trump with Epstein from 2000 and let's just say 10 and above. Show me pictures of it. Everything's from earlier years until they had a falling out.
Well, that's interesting.
In your opinion as a lawyer and your experience, is there anything you can say as to the validity of those claims or whether or not there will be any more about that?
Nothing at all. The only thing that I can say about President Trump is that he is the only person who in 2009, when I served a lot of subpoenas on a lot of people, or at least gave notice to some pretty connected people that I wanted to talk to them, he is the only person who picked up the phone and said, let's just talk. I'll give you as much time as you want. I'll tell you what you need to know, and was very helpful in the information that he gave and gave no indication whatsoever that he was involved in anything untoward whatsoever, but had good information that checked out and that helped us, and that we didn't have to take a deposition of him.
That was in 2009?
That was in 2009.
Well, that's...
Say there was an email confirming he had Epstein with friends in 2017. I believe they had Thanksgiving Day together.
Well, that seems...
Was it like an event thing where they all got together and had Thanksgiving dinner, or was it a personal, like, hey, come on over to the house, let's have a fucking beer and watch Dallas Cowboys and Redskins play Thanksgiving dinner?
Interesting.
See, that's an old picture of Trump. That's an old picture.
Like former...
See, they don't have any up-to-date shit, right? All they got is old shit.
Sorry.
And that right there alone tells you something.
But we're going to move back to you. I bet we are. Yes, of course, because you're here to testify. That's what the whole point of this endeavor is. So, of course, we're moving back to you. It is all about you. Attorney General Bondi, does a convicted sex offender like Ghislaine Maxwell deserve special treatment and and privileges in prison? Yes or no?
Let me be crystal clear on this. No. And
Thank you.
let me keep going. No, let me
See, now they won't let her fucking answer.
Perfect. Well, I
did
have
not
a
know
few
she
more
was being
questions.
transferred.
I
and
asked you yes or
she
no.
was
and
not
I'm reclaiming
transferred
my
to a
time.
lower
Mr. Chairman,
level.
please stop the clock and remind the witness of the rules. One rule she needs to understand.
Yeah, when it's an event atmosphere, you can't control who comes and who goes. You know what I mean? And like I say, with the emails and shit, I don't want to hear nothing about that because, and not saying that in a bad way, but the reason that I won't take that into account for anything is because Epstein was pissed at Trump over a $36 million deal that Trump had beat him out of. And he's liable to have said anything to smear. They wasn't buddies after that. They had a falling out. But they tried their hardest to link them together. But show me pictures, you know what I mean? Since the Chia Pet wig days of Trump, and I'll reconsider.
There is no evidence that Donald Trump has committed a crime. Everyone knows that. This has been the most transparent presidency. He's the one that asked that those files.
I'm reclaiming my time.
be
I got your
released.
answer. I'm going to put up another document from a witness who called the FBI's National Threat Operations Center because I believe you just lied under oath. There is ample evidence in the Epstein file.
Don't you ever accuse me of a
I
crime.
believe you just lied under oath, and this is on videotape. You said there's no evidence of a crime. I'm showing you, here is a witness statement who called into the FBI's Threat Operations Center.
Yeah, but that's not the same. That could be a smear campaign. That could be anybody calling in. You have to have actual evidence. I could say that fucking ADA stole my car. I could call in and say, hey, this motherfucker stole my car and stole $1,000 out the fucking console. That doesn't mean ADA did it.
He drove Donald Trump around in a limo. He overheard what Donald Trump said to Jeffrey on his cell phone. He was so angry, he was going to stop a limo and hurt Donald Trump. And he met a girl who said she was raped by Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein. She later had her head blown off, and officers at the scene said that could not have been suicide. Yeah. No one at the Department of Justice interviewed this witness. You need to interview this witness immediately.
This is what Congressman Lieu didn't
Yeah, that's a hoax.
want to talk about. He didn't want to talk about all the crime that is happening in his state. There is no evidence. You sit here and you attack the president, and I am not going to have it. I'm not going to put up with it. You know, all they want to do, all the American people need to know this. They are talking about Epstein today. This has been around since the Obama administration.
I don't either. And I seen the one thing with the guard, but I haven't been able to find the document myself. But somebody sent it to me. I think can't remember who sent it to me. I get a lot of stuff sometimes. But I watched it on Heavy Duty Countries. Shit.
This administration
and if what he posted is true,
over 3 million pages of documents, over 3 million, and Donald Trump signed that law to release all of those documents. He is the most transparent president in the nation's history.
Hey, and I find it awful funny that Bill Clinton will not come down there. They've been trying to get him down there for over 5 months. It doesn't take that. It's not like his fucking calendar's full. I'm sure he can squeeze a fucking date in. He wants to do it at his leisure with nobody and not being recorded, and it's fucking weird, man. It's fucking weird. And I may be wrong. But I don't feel that Trump is fucking involved in that shit. Did he know? Yeah, they all fucking knew. And I just can't get past the fact that these motherfuckers didn't do nothing about it when they had the power to, and they're calling him out. You know, I just feel like they wrapped that shit up. Yeah, bloodthirsty fucking politicians. Let's hopefully Heavy Duty won't start me. I don't think it will. And I think more of them fucking knew about that shit. And I think there's a lot more people involved in it than what we know.
Oh, folks, I've been having a tough day. I think America's having a tough day right now, to be honest with you. And this Epstein stuff, man, it's just got me sick to my stomach. And what is more sickening to me is it seems as if this administration, other than Thomas Massie, is attempting at covering it up or just not being truthful. And look, you are stupid if you don't believe that there is real life blackmail and real life threat of death for people who are high up if they release certain information. And I'm not oblivious to that, and I'm understanding of that. But what has happened with the Epstein list is a fucking joke. It's a joke. They release some stuff and they tell you, oh yeah, I mean, this is just kind of what we have. I mean, let's just kind of look at the timeline. Right. Pam Bondi says they have the list, that she's reviewing it. It's on her desk. Then Trump comes out and says there's no list. There's no nothing. There's no documents, nothing. Then they come out and say, oh, no, there's no list. There's no documents. There's no nothing. Then Trump comes out and says, if you keep talking about it, or he says, stop talking about it. And then he says, if you keep talking about it, you're no longer my supporter.
Sure. So I'm for any, I don't, they can do whatever they want. We'll give them everything. Sure, I would. Let the Senate look at it. Let anybody look at it. But don't talk about it too much because honestly,
I think that they've taken what he's saying right there and just flipping it over because he's scared that it's going to crash the fucking economy.
I don't want to take it away from us. It's really a Democrat problem. The Democrats were Epstein's friends, all of them. And it's a hoax. The whole thing is a hoax.
And when he says hoax, he's talking about them trying to pin it on him, not that the fucking Epstein list is a hoax, but people just run with shit.
And I don't want to take it away from really the greatness of what the Republican Party has accomplished over the last period of time.
Then they release some documents and they're all redacted. It's just a big ass black sheet of paper, just a slap in the face to America. Oh, you want something from us? You want us to do our job?
This is what you call getting gaslit by the Democrats right here.
Can you imagine?
You would think this dude would be smarter than that, right? Because this ain't no fucking idiot. Heavy Duty Country is not an idiot by far.
Can you imagine if your boss is like, hey, type this report up for me, and you just type a bunch of A's on there and hand it to him? Yes, sir, here you go. How do you like that? Looks pretty good, huh? No, you would never do that, but that's how we're treated as the American taxpayer. Now we have a 3 million page dump of more redacted stuff. Some stuff was released, just enough to get us all talking.
Oh, I believe that. I believe that.
Talking, just to distract us from something. But guys, here is the thing. Nobody has been arrested. There have been 2 arrests in regard to Epstein. Epstein himself and Ghislaine Maxwell. You're telling me those are the only 2 people?
Yeah, ain't real country, is it? If you can't drive a stick. What's up, Ready Randy? Good morning, sir.
people in all of those documents that we can say this person at the bare minimum needs to be booked into jail and there needs to be some level of investigation. That's where we're at. Because I've read through some of it and it is some wild crap. It's just kind of wild because most of these Congress people, most people in the government, they have kids. Like, don't you think of your own kids when you see this stuff?
Yes, I do.
Would you want your daughter anywhere near Epstein, Ghislaine Maxwell, anybody?
Do we really have to answer that question?
In these files? I don't know, folks. That's how I look at it. So I did want to go over a couple of things in this because let me just read this. I suspect Robert, Ghislaine, and Jeffrey were all Mossad agents trying to blackmail leaders in the political and financial world. At the end of the second Black Book, an organizational chart details his East 65th Street operation with potential co-conspirators and the physical location of the apartment 4 models. I mean, I think that's one of the first like rumors or educated guesses about Epstein. I mean, just some random dude was brought into the financial system and just got super high up with being kind of a dumbass. I mean, if you heard the guy
see, this is the part that gets me.
Speak, he's not the smartest dude ever.
Waiting on the dreaded YouTube files. Good morning, Tex. Oh shit, what happened?
There is a lot of evidence pointing to Epstein still being alive. And I have said this kind of from the beginning. I don't believe that he's dead. If you were to ask me my firmest opinion on what happened, I think they switched out Epstein in the jail. They rolled him out and he's in fucking Guatemala or somewhere with no extradition clause, somewhere being protected by people. And I'm going to go through why I think that. So this is from Roberto, I'm going to butcher his name, but Grijalva, maybe the J is silent, an officer at the Metropolitan Corrections Center in New York. And this, originally there was a post on 4chan saying that this guy worked at the jail and that he saw a bunch of stuff. Now the guy has been identified. So
why would you fucking do that?
I'm going to read this for everybody. Not saying anything after this, please. Do not try to dox me. But last night, after 4:15 count, they took him medical in a wheelchair, front cuffed, but not one triage nurse says they spoke to him. Next thing we know, a trip van shows up. We do not do releases on the weekend unless a judge orders it. Next thing we know, he's put in a single man cell and hangs himself. Here's the thing. The trip van did not sign in, and we did not record the plate number, and a guy in a green dress military outfit was in the back of the van, according to the tower guy who let him through the gate. You guys, I am shaking right now because I think they switched him out. Now look, in my opinion, this is not a conspiracy theory, and there is a lot of evidence why it's not. And here are some of them. His island was still being patrolled by armed guards after he died. He bought a dental chair right before he was jailed, which could be used to reconstruct his teeth. The alleged body that they wheeled around did not have his same facial structure or ears. We'll show that in a second. He was proven to be an asset of intelligence, and he knows a lot more alive than he does dead. So they can use him for their blackmail work. Here's the crazy one. After he allegedly died, his estate transferred more than $12 million to Southern Country Bank, a secret bank account which nobody knew about till after he died. No.
So somebody got paid $12 million.
Public ceremony involving his body, etc. Now, folks, I am not super familiar with dead bodies, but I do know some facts about it just through research. Your nose is not going to slump over when you die. I imagine some people out there have had open caskets during funerals. Your nose doesn't just fucking change. Unless, I don't know, somebody gets pissed off at the funeral and cuts it off. But that's pretty much what it would take because it's cartilage, guys. It's cartilage. It's not like your love handles where it's just a bunch of fat. But even that, you're not just going to lose 30 pounds of fat because you've been dead for a week. Doesn't work like that. So here we got Epstein, and then We have a parrot on the left, and then his ears were completely different as well. Now, look, folks, I have gone down the deepest rabbit holes as far as what super elite units and government entities can do. And it is 100% possible to put a prosthetic on a face, to put a body double in there. The guy could have been dead when they put him in there. It could have been a million different things. But this is 2026. You have an app on your phone that can type you an essay on planets faster than you could have done one in 6 weeks in 1990. Anything is possible at this point. This was Robert Grijalva. Jeez. I may be the worst in the world with pronouncing names. It's got to be a silent J though. It's Spanish. Grijalva. We're going with Grijalva. Robert G. So here is the United States government memorandum. So on Friday, August 9th, 2019 at approximately 1:50 p.m., Grijalva passed on to oncoming staff member Officer Davis and Shakir and Officer Joyner that inmate Reyes was going WAB and possibly may not return. Also, that inmate Epstein will be needing a cell upon arrival from his attorney visit. And here is
So the reason that he posted that is so he can show that that dude actually worked there.
a report, and this involves the actual case. And what he put on 4chan is in here, how they potentially switched him out. So, guys, the question becomes, where is Epstein? We got some photos here. That sure as hell looks like him. Once again, this is the difference between his ears and
That's a big fucking difference. That is a big fucking difference.
in his nose. And by the way, folks, if you're heading an investigation on something as critical as this, wouldn't you post more pictures if you are going to post one? Like, you just gave us a little side frame. Give us a break. Legitimately, give us a break. And like I said, we went over this. Mystery bank account came alive. It doesn't just happen, folks. I mean, I guess he could have timed it for when he committed suicide, but I'm not super into fairy tales, folks, but that is one fairy tale that I will never buy into. So I don't really like showing this kind of stuff. I don't think I really ever have, but I think this is important. So Epstein named his bank account Baal, which is a demonic god, and child sacrifice was a key ritual in Baal worship. So there we have it. Baal, Wachovia Bank, routing number, account number.
Beach houses used to be cool, yeah.
And dude, this is just
bro. So let me say this. If I was trying to get away and didn't want nobody to see me, where do you think I'd go? If you said the middle of the ocean, you're right. Because there's a lot of places you could go out there where nobody would know where the fuck you're at unless you told them.
just sick.
The motherfuckers could fucking put him on a yacht somewhere with a helicopter landing pad, and nobody'd ever know where the fuck he was at.
How about that?
How about that?
It will perform. That culture here in Milan throughout the games, throughout the hour. It will be the centerpiece of the city.
I am hoping that somebody in our government has the balls to go up against these people, but I don't think it'll ever happen. And I think people are going to continue to dodge accountability, and people are going to fly out of the country like Jay-Z did and whatever else. And it's just a sad.
Yeah. Sick fucking shit's what it is. But if I was trying to get away, that's what I'd do. I'd load up on a big ass yacht and be gone. Motherfuckers. And that's probably what's happened. I don't think he's at that island. That picture could have been from a different time. You know what I mean? But who knows? Who fucking knows? Just like they did with with Biden. You know, they knew that shit was a mask. People knew it. Biden hadn't been in office for a long time, they say, allegedly. Let's see what we got over here. Okay. So, let's see if I can get this up. Come on, man. Put it down. Back here. Let's see if I can pull this image up now. Or let's just go to this fucking channel. Fuck it. Let's just go to Alex's channel. Let's see what he got to say. Kind of hard to dispute Alex Jones now, ain't it? We're going to rewatch this PvP podcast. Oh, yeah. That dude's something else, man. You know, the reason I give him such a hard time is because hiding behind kids and the Bible and shit's just, it's outrageous. When you're calling everybody else pedophiles and shit, and you really don't give a fuck. Was you watching the other day when I asked him, I was like, Carl, how come you ain't said anything about the Canadian shit? Oh, it's not time for that. Bitch, what do you mean? That's what you're fucking claiming your whole channel about. It's always time to speak.
And so if they hired 5 advisors to go sit in a room with them, these are logical players. You're one of them. What counsel do you give to them?
Well, when I was driving here this morning, I know the White House watches your show. They watch mine, but not as much. But I've been told by the folks that they love your show, and I hope they listen. It's killing Trump. My family, people on the street, my callers, my listeners, I've got my finger on the pulse. I don't need a poll to tell people want a rebel that goes after the evil deep state.
What's up there, Tarjay?
They certainly do. And
oh, shit, this is ain't what the fuck I was after. Let's go to PvP podcast. Hey, Tex, if you're still in here, I appreciate you telling me about this shit the other day. 30 seconds. Did you ever? I don't think that's the right one. Or that's the old one.
And out of New York and out of Penn State and a bunch of other places. And that was cut and dry. They caught him. They went to jail. But it then got shut down. And a bunch of the people involved in the pedophile rings all magically died. So I knew John DeCamp, interviewed him many times, Ted Gunderson many times. And so they told me all of this. Kathy O'Brien, which has now been totally vindicated. She had been in an MK Ultra mind control program that was attached to this. And a lot of that's been declassified. And so I knew about all this and heard about all this from them. And so I understood that. Then it also came out in 1989, all front page Washington Times. I've seen you cover it. Underage call boys, midnight visits White House. And so you have to understand that George Herbert Walker Bush had been the CIA director, youngest ever.
Listen to what he says right here and just how fucking far back this shit goes.
Never been in the CIA. They said when they put him in there in the 70s, not true. He was basically researched. It was even in the documents running the JFK assassination operation as the man on the ground in '63. So that was his little reward. But later, he's the head of the CIA, and then he's the head of the country. And he brings in Wes Wexler, and he is a Victoria's Secret, all of that. He is the handler of Epstein, who also works with Bill Barr, who had been the CIA liaison in Iran-Contra. Even at his young age, he ran Iran-Contra for George Herbert Walker Bush in a compartmentalized program under Reagan that Reagan didn't know about, and there was a big scandal over that. So then Barr gets promoted to be Attorney General, and then he's brought back by Trump later. So thank you. He's been Attorney General twice. And now Mike Benz exposed a bunch of this that wasn't part of the Epstein files, but knowing what to look for now in the millions and millions of public files. It was Bill Barr, George Herbert Walker Bush, the Les Wexner, and all of them in the early 90s that set up a CIA airline like Air America 2.0 or Evergreen Transportation in Ohio. They used for the first funding of that the Somali conflict, and they bring in the first 30,000 Somalis into Ohio. Okay, and this is what year? This is 1991. Okay, and this is all public. And
hey, so here in Florida, I remember seeing influx of like Haitians and stuff. And the reason that I bring that up is because even the black people didn't want nothing to do with him. And I always viewed Haitians as just being regular black. And they're like, no, they get offended. They were offended by that.
And a lot of this research, I had a lot of this research, but then I've watched like 10 hours of Mike Benz, just every, like 6-hour, 4-hour programs, just this document, that document, totally mapping it. So you have the CIA with Bill Barr bringing in Epstein to be basically the front man for the airline. So he's already, by 1991, he is already the head of the cutout for major CIA operations. Now, why'd they pick him? Bill Barr's father was like number 5 in OSS in World War II. Then he was like number 3 in CIA. This is all public. Then he runs an all-girls school in New York that Epstein is hired at like 26 years old to come in and, boy, suddenly becomes like the deputy principal over these girls. Donald Barr then writes a book called Space Relations.
Strangest book.
Writer and official strategic service OSS officer. He was a minister at Columbia University before serving as a headmaster at the Dalton School in New York City.
About humans working with aliens to kidnap children in sex slavery on a faraway planet. So, very nice person. The point is that they are it's Bill Barr, known CIA, his dad, known CIA, Herbert Walker Bush, known CIA. They use the cutout first money, claiming it's for Somali refugees, and they get a couple $2 billion to set up hundreds of aircraft, some of them, like passenger jets. They set all this up, and they're using it for money laundering, drug trafficking. It wasn't just Mena, Arkansas, and the Clintons over here working with the CIA and the Bushes. Mm-hmm. That's all coming.
Remember what I said about the boys on the tracks, right?
Now, it was also over here in Ohio. And so that's how important Epstein was all the way through, that he was so trusted that he was put in charge. Now, I didn't know this till the Bannon interview came out that was not released by Bannon, but was in the Epstein files, the 2-hour interview from 2017 or 18. Everybody's got to watch it because I thought, this is going to be boring. I watched it. My mouth was hanging open. I knew that Epstein was part of the Trilateral Commission, but that's like saying you're the head of, Valuetainment, and then you've got, a secretary or something, that's important, but they're not the head of it. I thought, okay, but he must have. I always heard he was in the Trilateral Commission. No, I'm watching that show.
Yeah, I did.
Oh, that interview, and he's like, no, David Rockefeller approached me to be his right-hand man for systems analysis, so I could integrate all these systems together. And because they had too many experts at just one level, and he knew about my work, with some other groups, being the CIA. So he brought me in to be his representative, and so they put him on the board of the Trilateral Commission, which is one of the most powerful globalist elite or super organizational systems, precursor to the World Economic Forum. So Larry,
that's crazy.
Thinks the head of the World Economic Forum today was Klaus Schwab. It's equivalent of him of a 30-year-old being on the board of the WEF today, okay, which has co-voting rights with the UN. So he is the protege and attaché and basically imperial legate. That's a Roman term for someone that can speak for the emperor. David Rockefeller set up the UN, set up the modern globalist system. He's on record doing it all. Here is a 30-year-old man that is literally given the control to fly around the world and be the representative of David Rockefeller.
He's saying this in the Steve Bannon interview?
He is, but then here's what I didn't just believe Jeffrey Epstein. I already knew I went and looked all this up, and it's all public. So it was all, the Trilateral Commission has documents on its own site and talks about the meetings and the things that Epstein chaired meetings with world leaders. So we knew decades later he's got all these world leaders calling him and, all this stuff. But he was, what's the Trilateral Commission do? It's all the leaders.
So you see why it's going to be hard to fucking bring that motherfucker down, to bring all this shit to an end.
Intelligence agencies, the big corporations, the governments and academia all together, just the leadership, and then coordinate.
And I honestly believe that that's why they tried to take Trump out in Pennsylvania, is because he was talking about releasing all those files, and people were scared and nervous that they were going to get caught up in
it. Through the three pillars, Europe, Asia, and
Dead man tell no tales.
The point is, this is the precursor to everything we see today. And so now you know what the Epstein thing is really all about. Now, obviously, through the underage stuff and the pedophilia that he was brought in, clearly, when he went to that girls' school and the rest of it, that's just the gateway drug with these people from my studying of them and what Ted Gunderson and all of them told me. And they explained that, no, they really do, like to torture kids and drain off their blood and have the endorphins, not just the adrenaline. And so I knew all this MO. And so that's how I was able to explain to people. People found videos now 18 years old. They're posted right now on Infowars.com today, where I'm saying, no, it's a cult, it's Satanism, it's black magic. This is what they
Yeah, and when he started talking that shit, a lot of people looked at him like he was fucking crazy. And then here we are today. The shit he was saying was fucking true.
We do, because it's not just Epstein, it's the people up above him to be able to do the horrible stuff they do. They have world views and world models that we're just animals, that we need to be sacrificed, that they're the Ubermenschen because they're willing to do this. We're weak, they're not. And so you have to understand, this is a standardized system. Before they called it mind control, before they called it intelligence agencies, before they called it that, they called it secret societies. And really all secret societies have been, some have been good, some have been bad, some have been a mix. But the bad ones, the dark ones as they call it, the occult ones, the hidden ones, they have always used torture and drugs and sex and what you'd call mind control, trauma-based mind control. And just in the modern parlance, they took that and then...
Hey, and he's going to tell you here later on in this interview about them girls and who they work for and who they still, some of them still work for to this day. Some of these organizations is fucking
institutionalized it. So you go to Skull and Bones, set up in the 1820s, or I think even earlier, by the main heirs to the Opium Trust of the British East India Company. That's public knowledge that they set up Skull and Bones. Oliver Starmer was the head judge that would prosecute one pedophile for 15 years in the UK and protected the Islamic grooming gangs. And then now he's all tied in with all these people at Epstein's Island, and he won't resign. I mean, it's like they're up to their eyeballs in the real stuff. And Trump is just saying, I'm not involved. I didn't do anything. I dropped the dime, which is in the FBI files. Well, where's Trump at a press conference? See, I was the FBI informant. I got him arrested 18 years ago. I broke that with Roger Stone like 11 years ago before he even ran. So that's what's crazy is, though, he knows there's so much garbage. And that's what they explain. They go, sir, in the last year of Biden, they implemented this tip line. And I was telling people that were in the cabinet meetings when they convinced him of this. They go, sir, they implemented this tip line. And anybody by fax or email or phone can call in and file a report. So schizophrenic women, like in August, you'll call in and say, I was at Mar-a-Lago and Trump and Elon, raped me. And all of a sudden, it turns out they weren't even at Mar-a-Lago then. Or another report, I was at this golf course this year and Trump raped me and did this. The golf course wasn't built for 5 years. It's so Trump goes, what? You mean there's a public? And now, sir, you see Jamie Raskin and Schumer. Trump is in the files 1 million times. Well, because it's all so now they've got this ongoing tip line. So when you hear that there's 3 million more files they haven't given you, next month it'll be 5 million. You understand? Because it's a perpetual motion machine. It's a cornucopia. It just spews it. So I'm not defending this. I'm telling you what Trump's been told. And that's why I said he's told it'll crash the stock market. Bondi yesterday, it'll crash the stock market. And it's not like if they had targets they could get, or even a few of their own people they could sacrifice, they do it. They know it's a giant mess of BS and crap. And then the women that are the victims and the survivors, almost all of them were, got into it. And that's how it worked. And we're actually madams, out running these operations. And now they've been recruited, staffed up by the Democrats, and are now on the payroll. That way, all the Democrats that are in there can be protected by the witnesses. Oh, we're not going to talk about kids disappearing or beef jerky. We're not going to talk about one piece of pizza that's glowing and loving, and you're going to love it for 7 people. We're not going to talk about, we'll deliver
These are the files?
Oh, yes. We'll deliver the 7, 9, and 12-year-old to the hot tub for your entertainment, Mr. Podesta. But remember, they're children, but they're well-trained. But you got to, And it's not just it's also in the WikiLeaks files. So all the same crap is in there that is in here. And it all
Tell me that shit ain't fucking disgusting.
just goes.
This is the clip you were talking about, Rob, if you want to play. Don Lemon on Anderson Cooper saying you shouldn't go after Epstein's files. Go ahead.
I think it's interesting when you look on the internet and you see the bigotry on the internet and the people who have been, these conspiracy theories about QAnon and about Jeffrey Epstein. There's a picture of me on the internet, right, where someone has superimposed the face of Jeffrey Epstein over Chris Cuomo and I, like hanging out, and there are people who actually believe it. And people say, well, not all Trump supporters are bigots or racists. Okay, fine. You can believe that. But when I look at all the people who put things like that on the internet, 99 times out of 100, it is a Trump supporter. So people should think about that as they are placing those things on the internet, as they are wearing political messages in the workplace as well.
Yeah. Well, talking about that, there's a fake flight manifest that has like 100.
That you're on it.
Yeah, I'm allegedly on it. Obviously, if you want to see who was on that flight, there are court documents, and there's like a handful of people whose names you might know who were. Who were ever on any flights of his.
Here's the same tag.
Ain't it funny? Huh? It's wrong when they do it to them, but it's all right to do it to fucking, this shit's a fucking joke, man. And that's what Trump meant by it's a hoax.
Iran, WikiLeaks, Julian Assange, about 2 months for the election in 2016, releases millions of emails. So everybody goes and jumps in them and verifies them and checks them. And there's all these emails about upstate New York and other places with the Podestas, with others, like, hey, we're going to have our Thelema rituals tomorrow. We're bringing the spirit cooking. That's blood. And it's all in there. And there's famous emails and it's a well-known woman that ran a service where kids come and play with you, and you can order them online and stuff. And it's her delivering the 3 children to John Podesta at the wooded facility, and then they'll be in the hot tub waiting for you for your entertainment. And this is all the reality. Well, how did they divert off? They then had the New York Times and CNN report on 4chan and 8chan diverting off to a pizza place in D.C. that the people were part of, but nothing was really going on there, with imaginary underground torture facilities that didn't exist, so they could go report on the fake story instead of the real stuff over there. You understand? So that's how they were discrediting it, saying, oh, there's no Epstein, there's no pedophilia. It's all fake stuff about us. And that's another thing happening. Somebody's flooding Facebook, X, TikTok with famous footage of Trump at beauty pageants and things like that.
Young girls, these are all AI deep fakes. They're everywhere.
And they march in the little girls. Yeah. And it's admitted fake. You can even see it's famous videos of Trump. You can find the original video at a pageant.
But they work. Even if 20% believes it, they work. Some of these clips, I don't know about this one. No. There are some of them that's literally young girls. You'll see like 10-year-old, 12-year-old girls that deep fakes are being made.
It's the one that starts. It's the one that starts with there's a bunch of them, with like a little girl crying on stairs, holding her crotch. It's not pornographic, but it clearly the implication she's just been raped, and then it cuts to all these shots of Trump at Mar-a-Lago and stuff that are known videos that we know they're, and then they mesh them in with all these little girls. They're crying and Trump's pointing at them, and then they cut in. Yeah, it's sick.
Did you see the 2006 phone call that the president made to the PD saying, hey, Ghislaine Maxwell's evil? That story that came out 2 days ago. You saw that? Rob, if you want to pull that up. Trump told Palm Beach police chief, everyone knew about Epstein. Maxwell was evil. Go a little bit lower.
This morning, a major lawsuit taking on the video game industry. An Arkansas mother and son accusing manufacturers of intentionally designing games to be as addictive as possible.
So why did this story not come out earlier? Why is it coming out?
President Donald Trump has repeatedly maintained that he had no knowledge of Jeffrey Epstein's sex crimes. But in July of 2006, just as Jeffrey Epstein's criminal sex charges became public, Trump called then Palm Beach Police Chief Michael Redder to tell him that Epstein's activity with teenage girls were well known in both New York and Palm Beach.
Now,
well, this is spinning like it's bad that he said they were bad then, but now he says it's not bad now. Roger Stone wrote a book on this. We were all vetting Trump. I was, right before I endorsed him. I was one of the first to do it. It was on record and it come out in court that Trump dropped the dime on him 18 years ago because he pulled Virginia Giuffre, who was like 15 and worked there, out, and he got pissed off about it. And so you have Michael Wolff in recordings going back 5, 6, 7 years of them trying to get him to say something about Trump. He's like, no, he never got a massage. No, he never was around the girls. He was never around the kids. No, but he did drop a dime on me, and he's a piece of shit, and he's the worst guy ever. And he's such a scammer, and he rips everybody off in business, which means Trump beats people. So I mean, it's literally Trump dropped everything Roger Stone told me back when he was trying to recruit me to support Trump, that Trump was going to win, which I vetted and got into. He explained how it all worked and how they're going to attack Trump for this, but it was really Trump first exposed it. And then now all that stuff has come out because Roger lives here. I mean, he's been at Mar-a-Lago since Trump got it. He's been Trump's friend for 50 years. Everything Roger's ever told me has been accurate. I mean, he told me, and by the way, I like Steve Bannon. I don't think Steve Bannon's a bad guy. He was involved with Epstein. Epstein was very politically powerful. He was really the shadow head of the Trilateral Commission. People say he can control these world leaders. He really did. Okay, the emails of Bannon are, how do we overthrow the left and get populists in the UK? And he's asking Epstein advice on that. So, I mean, Bannon calls me all the time and sends me links and says, how do we do this? How do you put pressure on that? Hey, we need to get on this. That's Bannon works like 18 hours a day. I'm not defending it. I probably wouldn't have hung out with Epstein. But the contacts with him are there. And it's what Bannon always said they were. It was elections. It was contacts, because Epstein was like, you could get any number you wanted, any information from him. So Bannon was going, he even says in the interview, are you the devil? You're a pretty bad guy.
Can you pull up that clip?
But I mean, he's like going to the Trilateral Commission. This is David Rockefeller handed it over to him.
How many hours was that? Did he say 14 hours?
Well, they say there's a whole bunch of hours, but I think all the feds got was like 2 hours.
Wolf has 100 hours. I had Wolf on and we talked about it. Rob played his clip.
I told him the devil, 100%. The devil himself. The devil himself said, I'm going to exchange some dollars for your child's life.
Do you think you're the devil himself?
No, but I do have a good mirror.
It's a serious question.
Sorry.
Do you think you're the devil himself?
I don't know. Why would you say that?
Because you have all the attributes. You're incredibly smart. You remember the devil is somebody who knows
smart?
The devil's brilliant. You read Milton's Paradise Lost.
No, the devil scares me.
Satan is the
Good for Bannon for asking this.
Number 1 or 2 archangel. And the reason he goes to hell and leads the rebellion is because he can't be the top guy. And his thing is, I'd rather reign in hell than serve in heaven.
I saw that in a movie
Notice how uncomfortable the smoker gets.
Once called American Dharma. I don't remember who.
He fucking ends the interview after that question.
Said it. Okay, we have to go.
Okay, good.
Okay. I told him.
So And so there are. I'm not saying Kabbalah itself is satanic, but any teaching has its dark and light side. But Jewish mysticism goes back to King Solomon and even before that. And in the Old Testament, they say you don't get involved in it, but then you get the New Testament start getting written. Like there's 30 plus other books, written by the rabbinic mainline, Jewish groups since then. And then there's a bunch of books written by Solomon, and I've actually read them. And that's the symbol of Israel is really the seal of Solomon. It's not the Star of David. That's just a made up modern name. But in all of that, there are experts on it, like serious scholars that don't really practice it, but know how to decipher it. So remember when James O'Keefe got footage inside that showed.
Let's see what his notification is. Hopefully we ain't getting in trouble. Always gets in trouble for watching these fucking videos, so I have to be careful.
The temple and gargoyles and everything inside the blue and white striped temple with the gods and goddesses on top of it, and the chimeric gods, mix of animals and humans.
See, now, if there wasn't no reports to back this shit up and Alex was sitting there talking this shit, you'd think the man had lost his fucking mind.
So, but by the time O'Keefe got that footage, somebody had erased the answer to the equation. So he had this esoteric equation, but only if you do Kabbalistic research and then all the modern stuff, AI and everything integrated into it, would you then get the answer? And then the answer is the takeover and total enslavement and destruction of humanity, and how they're going to use AI and all these other systems integrated into the banking system to do it. And then when you watch the interview with Bannon, he's talking about, and that interview was like 2018, he's talking about how the AI is already out of control. We don't even know how to program it. It's going to take over, but it's okay. We're going to merge with it. And you can see that he's at the highest levels of all of this, planning this with big tech and everybody else. I mean, it's truly insane.
Yeah. But by the way, you were mentioned in the files, 14 times? And I think in one of the letters, he said something negative about you and called the president an elephant. I don't know what it was. Jones is crazier than Trump or the elephant. Who's Paul Krasner? Who's Paul Krasner?
He's a globalist.
I'm trying to find.
Yeah,
but there's actually 16 now.
No, when you go back and watch the fucking bombing and the attack on the Liberty, I still don't understand why I get why they covered it up, but I don't know why they would do that for them. Why they would go to that extent to try to cover it up. Like that was fucked up because they thought that we were spying on them. I'm trying to find where he's talking about them girls.
$16.
Yeah, but I like the fact he doesn't like me.
That's a compliment.
But I love how
similar to Rogan.
I love how my enemy spun it though. They would spin it like I think that
an IQ of 85 to 115 is considered average in the U.S.
This is the only time where she was right. But I think Massey overall is the good guy comparatively. So I'm not putting him down. Just if you look at this one play, because I did see this last night. One reason I didn't sleep last night, I got addicted watching all this. This stuff's too riveting.
It is.
They did leave Les Wexler, who's the CIA controller, an owner of Victoria's Secret, a bunch of brands.
He's the one that gave the largest private residence, Manhattan, 54,000 square foot house to Epstein as a gift. That was a $77 million property for no reason.
And he just so happened to own the house that Lutnick moved into next door. It was
who owned it? Wexner?
Yep, same.
I didn't
deal.
know that.
In a trust.
Really?
In a trust, yeah.
Wow.
It was called Comet.
So he bought it from him. Lutnick bought it from Wexner.
He didn't even know that, and that's actually true because I spent hours seeing Lutnick was lying about this. It was just some big Manhattan real estate trust, but it turned out it was owned above it by Wexler and Epstein.
Yeah, I mean, those things you can't control. I live in an area where Paul Castellano, the boss of the, one of the big, I think it was the Gambino family or the Colombo family who owned the house. So, hey, how did you get the house? Some of those things you can't control. But go back with the story.
And didn't Al Capone retire and die around here or something?
Yeah. You hear these types of stories. But go back to Massey. Massey saying that about Bondi. You were going to say something.
Oh, there's so much to say about Massey. I mean, here's the deal. I've tracked this out of the people that got involved, talking to Massey, Emerald Robinson, and so many others. Literally just got him asking questions a couple of years ago, even before Trump got back in, and Massey was on this. The American people want it. That's why we're covering it. And
Thank you. Love you.
and then Trump gets in and says, yeah, we're going to go look at it. And then says, no, there's nothing there. It's a hoax. And we're like, what do you mean? And now there's all these documents. And then Trump starts saying, we got to get rid of Massey. He's a traitor. Trump started that. Trump is committing political suicide again with little cuts. He ran off MTG. I know the inside baseball on that. And I still support him. I've been nothing but persecuted supporting him. I don't get any money supporting him. All I get is tax and losses for the Democrats.
No, I'm not drinking
Because
6 of
overall,
them, bro.
it's good what he's doing on so many
You
fronts.
just bought me
He's
6 of them.
dismantling the globalists. He's really bringing 20 trillion in jobs back. Already about 8 trillion invested. He's already got energy prices down substantively.
She took
So,
it.
but I have a responsibility
We
still
took the
to support.
grandson.
He went start.
We took the grandson shopping.
I only got a 2-hour window left that I can eat, so I need to get dinner done.
Thank you. Love you. Yeah, no, we took the grandson shopping and she just took him home. Went and got him some cowboy boots. He wanted some boots. You know, grandpa shit. Grandpa and Navy shit.
Started a fight with Massey.
Why?
Yeah.
And made weird statements about his wife after she died. And then he attacked
It is
MTG.
sad.
Listen, MTG isn't running for senator, governor. She's always been a successful woman in her own right. You know, had a very successful construction company, making tens of millions a year. I talked to her, good friends with her. I knew she was going to resign 5 days before she did. She said, I think I'm going to step down.
Yeah, we
I
went and got
can't
him
handle
some
it.
of
And
them
she said, Alex,
the boots from
you know,
Ace. We loved them.
this is off record, but then later it came out. She said it again, so you can say it. They had a deep
She's a
fake
good
AI
kid, man.
saying that was cold though from real statements she made. Basically, she goes, the last
Hey, he's I don't know, that one there, he likes to hang out with us, right? He always has, ever since a baby. He always wanted to come home with Papa and Mimi. That's what he calls his grandma. And I don't know. He's just my heart. You know what I'm saying? Which I try not to treat him any different than I do the rest of them, because I take them all shopping, and you know how that shit goes.
time I really talked to him at any length, he just said, you know, listen, we can't have these files come out because it'll hurt the stock market. It'll discredit America, the faith and credit in it, you know, basically, and it'll embarrass my friends.
Who said that?
Trump.
Said it to who?
Her. and now you got Bondi yesterday saying it in the Congress. But Roger Stone, when he was president-elect, said, hey, just so you know, this Epstein thing should be a big problem. And Roger doesn't mind me saying this now. But he said Trump's had the CIA come to him. He didn't tell me what Trump said, but they have dinner all the time. And he goes, Trump thinks it's going to ruin the economy, and it's a big tar baby. And the Democrats have had the file, and it's a setup, and the intelligence agencies say it can bring down the whole country. So, don't expect Trump to, but again, you can see how it's an unending fiasco. Like, in a way, Trump's right, but you can't let them get away with what they did. And again, it's 99% Democrats. So he's giving his main enemies the victory. And then he's talking about how Bill Clinton's a great guy and a nice guy, and too bad he's got to testify to Congress about this. And Ghislaine Maxwell's a nice person.
Yeah, but he's sarcastic. That's what people don't get about Trump. He's a sarcastic asshole. He means completely the opposite when he says shit. But people they spin whatever the fuck he says.
Obviously trying to defuse things. And then meanwhile, he comes after MTG, who would literally, eat his shit off the floor previously if he asked her to save the country. And Thomas Massey, who's like a Ron Paul type, who's just very, very serious about his convictions. And so Trump turned them into enemies, made them more popular. Massey's more popular, even though they're trying to primary him, and put out that lie that she was polling bad. So that's why she didn't want to run. Trump didn't want her to run for the Senate. She didn't want to run for the Senate. So they just make up this bull. They attack their own party, and it's the stupidest thing ever. So, I mean, again, I need Trump to succeed, but this is so dumb.
Yeah, Massey doesn't give me the vibes of a bad guy. But when I watch Massey, he gives me the vibes of a good guy that he disagrees with him. What does he say? His famous line is, I'm with the president 91% of the time, and the 9% that I'm not is when we're fighting pedophiles and, a couple other things that he says there.
Attacking Iran. But, I mean, that's the other thing. Lake Tahoe was pretty.
Was that what you say? Tahoe?
I love Lake Tahoe. Lake Tahoe. It is.
Yeah.
So, sorry. What was I saying?
Massey. Massey
like
attacks him.
squirrel. Massey's the type of guy that comes off a farmer, nice and friendly, but you start messing with him, he's going to fight back.
He's a fighter.
And so,
yeah.
And you can tell he actually likes it now once the fight's going. Yeah. So it's like, Trump, you keep picking fights with some of the.
You think he is a possible candidate for 28 for those that feel Israel's got a little bit too much influence, and for those that don't like the way Epstein was handled, you think he could be a leading candidate for 28?
Absolutely. I mean, I don't know if he can win, but he can definitely run and get a lot of votes and inject that issue into the larger discussion.
Massey. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think he's formidable. And he's got a following. There's certain people that swear by him and follow what he has to say. And, more and more you see him talk, you're like, okay, I was with Rand Paul the other day at DC, and we're doing a conversation. Of course, he's a libertarian. I've spent time with his dad as well. And you see the way they think is slightly different, but there's logic behind it. There's reason behind it where the average person can say, this guy sounds like a reasonable player. How do you think this is going to end up? And maybe the better question, Alex, is this. How long do you think this is going to be a story that they're going to be talking about?
It would have already been gone, and they would have busted some of these top guys, and we have moved on because the trail is cold. The FBI and Epstein, who ordered a truckload of acid to dissolve everything the first day he knew it was under investigation. I mean, the really bad stuff's been destroyed and erased. The people that know are the young women that are the survivors.
I want to get that. I want to get that damn. Shit. Download that on the phone. Okay. Come on, you sucker. How do you take? There we go. Sorry.
That were really accomplices in most cases. So we have the witnesses. We know who they are. They're right there. And that's how they contain the whole thing. Not demonizing them. It's just a fact if you understand investigations. And so the way Trump keeps doubling down stubbornly, it's only going to get worse. A bigger black hole. And it's
most definitely
him in the polls.
They
distracting from all the good work he's doing. And his greatest strength is his greatest weakness. He was always, as Roger Stone says, thick-skinned, pig-headed in a good way, doesn't give a damn. And he says that, he said Trump, even before Butler and all the persecution, had a total I don't give an F attitude. He said after Butler, it was intense. He said now Trump just does not care. He says, I'm on a mission. I'm going to save the country. I know I'm not involved with Epstein. I know it's a diversion. I know it's all the Democrats. So I'm not going to even have this tar baby fight. And if the American people don't want to save things and you want to impeach me and remove me, he literally says in there, people come in and say, sir, we need to do something about this. He'll say, it didn't used to be like this. He'll start screaming at them. Like, remember, sometimes he goes, I'm sorry, I'm hoarse. I've been screaming at people behind the scenes. And he has a legendary temper, but it used to pop out a lot. Now it's like,
specifically on this topic.
Yeah. Or if you bring up the poison shots, he brought Kennedy in and they're restricting it and cleaning it up. He never admits he's wrong.
Poison shots, you're talking about the vaccine, COVID
Absolutely.
vaccine. Yeah.
And the thing is that the Democrats can't bully him and the media can't intimidate him. That's a good thing. But then it also, when his constituents are like, hey, this is what we elected you for, that pig-headedness becomes a problem. So it's hurting Trump. I don't see, a month's 1,000 years in politics. Who knows what's going to happen? I hope we win the midterms. Here's what I want to say to the American people. We need to start discussing just being pragmatic. It's terrible. This is bipartisan cover-up. The Democrats act like they're not involved in cover-up. They are. Explain how the cover-up's working. Explain how bad it really is, who's behind it, the intelligence agencies, and that it's far worse than anybody can imagine. Keep educating, keep exposing, discredit the power structure, discredit the system, and then run candidates for office that are more hardcore and awake, and support Congressman Massey, support Tulsi Gabbard, and her work, support all the good people like Robert F. Kennedy Jr. that's just knocking it out of the park, and just say, hey, too bad Trump destroyed his legacy. Too bad, he put a big scar on how wonderful all this was in populism, but populists getting people in isn't going to be perfect. Populists are winning everywhere. This is the fourth turning. So Trump just rode in on a wave. More waves are coming in. So we don't let Trump define us. We define ourselves by what we stand for, and we are exposing it all. And I'm the guy that first talked about Epstein. So whenever I expose the deep fakes, people go, oh my God, you're covering up for Trump. No, I'm covering the real things he did and calling balls and strikes. So there's a hysteria just to say everything's real instead of actually doing their research. But I think this is going to grievously wound the Trump administration, and it has the potential to derail the American recovery.
What happened to the Trump that would fire people? First administration he was in, he fired Scaramucci within 10 days. I think 30 to 40 people that he appointed, he fired. This time around, his retention, he went from 43% turnover on the first term. Right now, they're at 28, 29%. How come he's not firing anybody?
I'd like to answer that question, but I have had a bunch of tea and coffee. I'd like to
use a restroom.
I'd like to piss like a Russian racehorse, sir.
Right there to your left.
I'll be right back. Thank
You want to go do that, Rob?
A very suspenseful mission to shake a branch.
Go do your thing. Go do your thing. Rob, what clips can we play while we're giving this break here? Because there are many, many different things that we went through. Trying to think if we want to go to this one clip that I pulled up. By the way, pull this up, Rob. Why don't you play the clip with the professor? Folks, if you've not seen this, the Epstein files have gotten so crazy that a teacher is approached by someone asking question, and look how this man out of Ohio State reacts when asked about Epstein. Go ahead, Rob.
Just one more.
No.
Whoa.
Oh, God. I told you not to put that in my face.
I didn't.
Dude, you can't do
Yes,
that.
I did.
Crazy.
No, I'm not going to ask you again.
Now, why would he do that? Right? There's got to be something there. It's more than just that dude fucking filming.
Don't touch that. Don't touch me, motherfucker. Who the fuck put your hands on me,
Dude,
sir? You
that's-
put your hands on me, sir.
God.
Damn, dude. You shoved that camera into my face, sir.
Just one more.
Rob, what was that, Rob? What?
That camera. Put it again. Not the one.
No.
Whoa.
Oh, God. I told you not to put that in my face. I didn't.
Dude, you can't do
yes,
that.
You did. No, I'm
Dude.
not going to ask you again. Don't touch that. Don't touch me, motherfucker. Who the fuck put your hands on me,
Dude,
sir? You
that's-
put your hands on me, sir.
God.
Damn,
beat
dude. You shoved
his
that
ass.
camera into my face, sir.
Just one more.
Rob, what was that, Rob? What do we know about what happened there?
Let me see if I
Because
can
the
find
guy's
story.
been put on leave, right? He's been put on leave since that happened. But think about how many topics are out there that you can ask somebody of that causes this level of sensitivity where this guy, let me read the story. An Ohio State professor who was recently hired to help advance speech and civil discourse. Is now on an administrative leave after assaulting a documentarian on campus. University.
Now, think about the irony of that. That dude is for free speech and civil discourse, and he's attacking somebody for fucking asking him about Epstein.
Officials confirmed Wednesday. On Monday evening, Luke Perez, an assistant professor affiliated with OSU, legislatively mandated Salmon P. Chase Center for Civics, Culture and Society invited
yeah,
E. Gordon
no
G.
shit got
to
hard.
speak to his profiles in American leadership class. And what happened there? What happened to go a little bit lower? But after G spoke to the class on the building, DJ Barnes authored the local left-wing newsletter Rooster, and Mike Newman, a local documentarian, intercepted G as he exited a public restroom. They began asking him questions about his awareness of a campus doctor's sexual abuse of student athletes during his presidency. His recent defense of Leslie Wexner, a billionaire and former board chair of OSU, whose communication with convicted sex offender Epstein are under scrutiny, and his decision to sell OSU parking lot to a private equity firm. That's what it was questioned about. Very, very interesting. How? Can you imagine how deep these stories are that a professor is going wild over a reaction like this? And by the way, in a minute here, when Alex comes back, a clip came out about what happened in Canada. And I'm going to play this clip before Alex is coming up. And by the way, Alex is coming up, so I'll have him watch this because he shared it earlier this morning. And again, for those of you guys that are watching Send a Manek to Alex. Any questions, any thoughts? You can officially
the real demon possession?
We're going to go to that, but I want to ask you the question first. First administration, President Trump fired a lot of people. Mooch got fired within 10 days. Nearly 40 people he appointed got fired. Turnover was 43%. Now turnover's in the 20s. He's not firing people. Why is he not firing people?
I've got a good idea about that, but I didn't answer your question from 30 minutes ago. So I should probably answer that first because it answers this question.
Lose 45 pounds and become unrecognizable by spring. On Monday, February 16th, starting.
You asked me, if we were giving Trump advice, what should it be about Epstein? And I really did answer your question, but I didn't explain it right. The answer is you can't tell him anything because he doesn't listen. I mean, he's gotten to that point now where he would listen to certain people, and if you could give him facts, he would change his mind. And he's gotten to the point where that's not the case. And now, if someone just kisses his ass, and by that, it's not that he even wants the attention. If they don't argue with him, then they can just stay around as long as they just tell him what he wants to hear, because he is beyond confident. And he at 79, he's just, and so I wish we could get Trump to be a little bit more retrospective about that and listen to people that have only given him good advice in the past. He needs to fire Bondi. He needs to fire Blanche. He needs to bring in hardcore people. I mean, look, if you're not going to indict the Epstein thing because it's old and a mess and we get all that, not that I agree with it, but I get the logic. I understand the thought process. I think it's a mistake. I predicted you'd make the mistake because I knew about your advisors. But we need a bunch of Ilhan Omar indictments. It's cut and dry. We need real deep state indictments, people like Comey and Brennan and Clapper. The public wants justice, and instead we haven't seen any of that. And going back to his first administration, Trump was really hands-on in the minutia, and he was checking on what people were saying. He was checking on what they were doing. I think he had more energy back then, and he focused a lot more, at least at first, on that. Then they came in and started calling everybody who was bringing in Russian agents. They got rid of Flynn and Bannon and others, so they kind of paralyzed Trump. Because he really only fired folks that first year, if you remember, until the end that he fired again. Yes. So they paralyzed him with the Russiagate and putting him on defense and things. And then COVID, as a big distraction, brought out, they would basically brag as a way to derail his recovery and take back globalist control. They called it Disease X, and how they would get UN control through that. So the Operation Lockstep plan from 15 years ago that they implemented, basically as COVID, but that's a whole nother issue. So that's that answer. What was the other one?
No, about why he's not firing people.
Oh yeah. So,
why he's not firing people.
I mean, I don't know specifically. I know pieces of it.
I mean, he replaced Waltz. Waltz went from, one position to another position. That's not a fire. You're moving somebody, right, to kind of save face with media. But there's a lot of people that Trump 1.0 would have fired that he's not doing today. Why?
I don't know the answer to that question. What do you think?
Is it media? Is it control contact? Is it?
Oh, I've been told exactly.
Publicity?
Yeah. I've been told by the people at the White House, they say he doesn't want to have the embarrassment of someone being fired. He thinks that legitimizes that there's a scandal that they've done that's wrong. And so, yeah, that's his main reason. I mean, you just answered your question for you. Yes, Trump doesn't. He thinks it's bad publicity to fire people. There you go.
Okay.
Which again, you got to fire Lutnick. He's a likable guy. He's really great at economy. He did move in next to Epstein. He said he went over to his house with his wife. He goes, there's a massage table. We give really good massages, the right kind. They were creeped out, never talked to him again. Now we learned, there was this meeting and that meeting and talking to him about his nanny he wanted to hire and then going to his island with his kids. But it's just for lunch for the day. Yeah, right. So it's because of the lying he's got to go. But Trump's like, that's my friend. Plus, it likely we've done something wrong. No, the public wants to see action and then go fry some Democrats for what they've done. Hillary Clinton's head of her foundation was convicted of human trafficking kids out of Haiti. You can't swing a stick in the dark, and with the Clintons not hit real. Jeffrey Epstein's Ghislaine Maxwell is on record with the founding money for the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, heavily involved there, but mainly with this Open Sea UN treaty, and even bigger, helping set up the Clinton Global Initiative. So I mean, the Clintons and the Democrats and all these people, they're all the people. So again, I know I keep ranting. It just makes me so mad to watch Trump doing this.
All right, let's go to the next story. El Paso, shutting down the airport till February 20th. At first, They told us it was because of a, what did they see? They Mexican cartel drones. The clips came out, Rob, if you want to play this clip. These are the clips that we've seen.
Appreciate you, pimp.
You see the clips up top. Apparently those are drones. Some people questioning whether they're drones or not.
Why would they put this on there? Right? If they're running a fucking program to stop the fucking cartel, why would they load this up?
Some people want to know if he is using his favorite weapon that they use in Venezuela. You know which one I'm talking about? He calls it the what? Discombobulator. You know, what is going on here, Alex, with El Paso? We haven't shut down the airport since 9/11, and it was shut down for 2 days. That's not.
None of their equipment works. That's what it does. Everything was. How does it? It was my name. I'm very proud of it.
Here's the more important part. I had like a member of parliament on like 20 years ago from the UK, and he was explaining they're targeting mentally ill and autistic kids for this to sterilize them. Plus, they know a certain percent will go crazy, but we should play the rest of it. And so instead of putting this kind of mental institution or whatever, it was having psychotic outbursts, talking about killing people. I mean, that's what psychotic mania looks like. They take them and put them on drugs that totally whack them out. Then they get depressed. They put them on serotonin reuptake inhibitors that say on the insert cause mass murder and suicide and suicidal ideations. So it's a cocktail. But look at the shooter in Minnesota. He's on the same videos with the weapons going, I'm going to kill him, Satan. And it's almost all of them are literally devil worshippers. And you can say, well, it's not real. Well, then why the hell does it keep manifesting? And what I've been told by the experts about the Satanism is when they drink the blood and do all the stuff, that's why the Joker acts like that. The Joker, Hollywood knows this stuff. They're showing you someone, that kid has been sitting there smiling and demonically smiling and laughing so long. If you look, he's demon possessed. That's literally a demon. You can see his face is all red, the Joker look. And that's what I was told by Ted Gunderson. Lots of you told me he wouldn't say on air. He said, no, in their lore, the face of the Joker is the face they make when they're killing people. And they'll do it so long when they're chewing up babies and drinking blood that the face turns red and does the Joker look. And then on the kids, they rape and rape and rape for days on end. They get what they call the panda eyes. And so these are real things that happen. So this kid's probably been, this is ancient every culture where it's the energy of the demon coming into him. And he's like, and he's thinking about mass murder right here. So, and I've studied this. I know this sounds crazy, but you can go find almost all these trans shooters, and their dads always work for the NSA or they always work for the top DARPA company, you know, and it's, you know,
oh shit,
oh yeah, and both Crooks' parents, special behavioral psychology, and they're all in BlackRock ads, and. But it's the same MO, and they'll just have their guns and going, kill them, murder them, soon Satan, and this is it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. And by the way, what do we know so far about what's going on with Canada?
Well, all they say is it does not matter. Both the police chief and the regional police chief said that what matters is we do not misgender her. This is a woman. And they say that is what's most important in the speeches.
What do they say?
Ed, you know we're supposed to be having tornado warnings and stuff right today. I don't know if you'd seen the weather or not.
He said woman is in a dress. Rob,
Yep.
do you have that clip?
Yep.
There's a clip, and then also if you can show the stats of the school shooting or the mass shooting you're seeing.
It's all
the trans, which
just type in police. Police don't want to misgender Canadian shooter. I can find it. There's like the regional police.
Is that it?
This is one. There's one even worse. Yeah, go ahead.
That includes.
Rob, go back a little bit, Rob. Start from the beginning. Go ahead.
That includes the deceased gun person.
Okay.
Gun
and then
person.
separately,
Gun person is what he's calling it.
Yeah, this one's pretty bad, but that's not. There's a long. Yeah, there it is. This one right here.
Female by the name. So a suspect is identified as an 18-year-old female by the name of Jessie. We have a history of police attendance at the family residence. Some of those calls were related to mental health issues.
We've heard all around the world reports coming out from different media, not local but world, and we've heard people from Tumbler Ridge, actually people that know the shooter, and they are all saying that this person is transgender. Why is the RCMP not speaking to this? Why are we hiding this from the public?
Well, first off, thank you for your question. We're not hiding it. In fact, you're the first media to ask the question. I will say this. We identified the suspect as they chose to be identified in public and in social media. I can say that Jesse was born as a biological male who approximately, the information that I have, approximately 6 years ago began to transition to female and identified as female.
We're whipping out there. All right, y'all, I'm fixing to get off here. Because evidently we're starting to get some high winds. I'm going to go around these fucking mutts up. We'll holler at y'all. Peace. Stay safe.